The clock ticked past midnight. Rain lashed against the windows. Sarah, curled up in bed, was startled by her phone's insistent buzzing. It was a call from her mother.
A wave of unease washed over her. Her mother never called this late.
Sarah stared at the screen, her heart pounding in her chest. The insistent ringing made her head throb.
What could be so urgent?
She hesitated, a sense of dread creeping in. The ringing stopped, replaced by an eerie silence.
She exhaled, relief washing over her. She decided to check on her mother in the morning. Whatever it was could wait until then.
Sarah tossed and turned, unable to shake off the unsettling feeling. The unanswered call played on her mind, amplified by the howling wind outside.
Maybe her mother had just forgotten to check the time. Maybe it was an accident.
Morning came, but the unease lingered. Sarah reached for her phone, her hand trembling slightly. She had a nagging feeling that something was wrong, terribly wrong. With a deep breath, Sarah unlocked her phone and saw the missed call notification. Beneath it was a voicemail icon. Her heart sank. Her mother had left a message. Trembling, Sarah pressed play on the voicemail. Static filled her ear for a moment, then her mother's voice, strained and distant, whispered through the speaker.
Sarah, help me.
The voice was faint, barely audible over the background noise. Sarah sat bolt upright, her blood turning to ice.
What was happening? Where was her mother? And what was that noise in the background? It sounded like sobbing.
Fear clawed at Sarah's throat. She had to know what was going on. She dialed her mother's number, her fingers shaking so badly she could barely press the buttons.
The phone rang and rang, but there was no answer.
Sarah's heart hammered in her chest.
She tried again, but only reached voicemail. Panic began to set in. Why wasn't her mother answering?
Sarah listened to the voicemail again, this time focusing on the background noise. It was definitely sobbing, but it wasn't her mother. It sounded like a child.
Sarah's grip on the phone tightened. Something was terribly wrong. Her mother's voice, the sobbing, the unanswered calls. It was all too much.
A chilling thought crept into Sarah's mind. What if something had happened to her mother? What if she was in danger?
Another buzz, another voicemail. This time Sarah hesitated before pressing play. Her heart pounded in her ears.
The voice on the recording was closer now, clearer, but it wasn't her mother.
"She can't hear you," a raspy voice whispered, "but she can hear me."
The voice was laced with an evil that sent shivers down Sarah's spine. She felt a scream building in her chest.
Sarah wanted to throw the phone to run to escape, but she couldn't. She had to know what happened to her mother. She had to help her.
Just as the fear threatened to consume her, the phone rang again. The caller ID displayed a number Sarah didn't recognize.
Hesitantly, she answered, "Hello?"
Silence. Then a click. And then her mother's voice, weaker than before, filled her ear.
"Sarah, don't..."
The line went dead. Sarah screamed. Terror gripped her heart. She didn't know who to call, what to do. She was completely alone, surrounded by unanswered questions and a growing sense of dread.
The silence in the room was deafening. Sarah stared at the phone, her mind racing. What did it all mean? Where was her mother? And who else was involved?
She didn't have answers, only a chilling premonition that this was far from over.